Hello, everyone, and welcome to this Ethiopia Sourcing Call. I'm Kat. I'm a roaster ambassador here at Algrano. And yeah, I'm super excited to present this Ethiopia Sourcing Call to you all. The idea of the sourcing call really came up because I wanted to invite roasters to hear all of the insights from our team. We have Adisu in the call who lives in Ethiopia, and he's in on the sourcing team. We have Pablo in the QC lab. We have Kami and Mo who are our support team. We've got Cecile. Who is on the growth team with me. And we get to hear from everybody at El Grano really, really useful insights about different origins and sourcing. And I was like, I've been sitting in these calls being like, I wish all the roasters could get to hear this really valuable information. So I had this idea for having kind of almost a group consulting call for specifically now for Ethiopia because those are the coffees that are available to order right now, and those are the containers that are closing most like the soonest. So as we know, coffee is a seasonal agricultural product. So now is the time to move on Ethiopia coffees. And at Algrano, we have what is called shared shipments, which we consolidate coffees from various different producers and various different roasters so that we can move volumes. If you're a roaster, you can order kind of anywhere from 1 or 10 or 100 bags or more. But if you're looking for smaller or mid-sized volumes, we have these shared shipments, and the Ethiopia shared shipments are going to be closing soon. So I wanted to get this information to roasters ASAP, so you could all know this useful information and then take action on it. Um, so yeah, right. This is right now kind of a point in time update on where Ethiopian coffee is right now as of what day is it? Wednesday, March 11th. So it's not a fully comprehensive overview about how the Ethiopian coffee system works. Maybe we'll have to have a different call or like a series of calls for that someday. But this is really kind of a point in time actionable steps right now. So I'm going to give y'all a little uh, team intro first. I kind of went over this really quick already, but we have Adisu on our sourcing team. He lives in Ethiopia, and he'll give us a harvest overview and insights directly from the ground. We have Pablo, our head of quality control and the quality control lab, and he'll go through some offers that are available right now and give his professional recommendations. He tastes all of the coffee that comes through the lab, so he's the best person suited to say, hey, this coffee is good for these purposes. This one is good for those. So we'll get an overview for that. Cecile is on our growth team. She will lead us through a quick demo. So we'll bring up like literally the platform, algrano.com. She'll walk us through where to click to order samples, to place orders, and to kind of figure out how to know more information about the coffees that you're looking for. And then we have Cami and Mo, who are our support team. Cami is in Colombia and Mo is in Kenya. They're going to be available for a question and answer section at the end. And they're really literally the people behind the chat feature on the platform. So if you go to algrano.com and there's a green little bubble in the bottom, you click on that, it takes you to the support team. You're literally talking to Kami and Mo. So they're the best people to field Q&A because they know all the answers, or at least can find them. Um, all right, we're going to walk through the agenda. I kind of already went through this in the introduction, so we're going to hear origin insights, offers and recommendations. We'll have a platform demo, and then we'll leave plenty of time at the end for a question and answer section. So also roasters, if you have questions that pop up during this time, please put them in the Q&A section here on Zoom. And also while you're at it, go into the chat feature. Let us know who you are, where you're from, what roastery you work for, so that we know a little bit more about who's joining us today. But yeah, and again, as I said, I wanted this to be almost like a group consulting call. So if you have really specific questions about Ethiopian coffee, about offers, about the platform, about like what you're looking for specifically, please feel free to ask that during the Q&A. Yeah. And If there's one thing at all I want you to take from this call, it is the timeline for ordering samples and placing your coffee orders for Ethiopia. So these shipments, as I said, we have these shared shipments that are coming up, and you don't want to miss the ordering window because if you do, you can't order Ethiopian coffee from us. So we have these. I would, if I were you, roasters, just like take a screenshot of this or write these down really quickly. If you're in the EU, we have coffee coming into Bremen. The You should order samples ASAP. Really, for all of this, for all the Ethiopian coffees, you should order ASAP because the container closing date, that's where it says place order by, they're coming up pretty quickly. So for the EU, if you're ordering from Dimtu, Beledu, Fair Coffee, or Katamaduga, you need to place your order by April 15th. In the US, if you're ordering coffee from Unravel Coffee Merchants, also need to order by April 15th. And then we have another shipment coming to the US if you're ordering from Dimtu or Beledu. These are the producers that you'll see on the platform. You need to order by May 15th. And then Europe has another container with Dimtu and Beledu also closing on May 15th. So, but all of the coffees can sell out at any time because there are limited quantities. So and you want to leave yourself time to order samples, receive the samples, sample roast, cup, assess, so that you can get your orders in by uh, these place order dates. So this is the key thing. Um, Oh, yeah. And a note at Algrano, we focus on forward buying. So coffees that we're talking about are still in Ethiopia and they'll leave Ethiopia a few months from now. Again, the place order date is the cutoff for ordering in that container. And then the container ships usually within the next few weeks. But these coffees are currently in Ethiopia. So this is forward buying, not buying spot. But just want to leave that out there. If you have questions about that, pop that in the Q&A. And yeah, we'll move along. Now we're going to see some origin insights with Adisu.
Perfect. Hello, everyone. It's nice to have you here today. And I'm happy to take you roughly through the Ethiopian harvest update for the season of 2025-2026. So just to give you some highlight, harvest was a bit late this year, which usually used to start in September. This year it started in November. And the end usually used to be January, but this year it went until February. So currently from March until September, it will be the shipping parade for Ethiopia. There was lower production in the southern part of Ethiopia, what we call Yirgachefe, Sidamo, Guji, West RC area, and then the western part, which is Jimma, Limu, Lekent, or Kaffa, there was like more production this year. In previous season, which means like 2024-2025 harvest, the red cherry price were significantly lower, and the dried cherry was sold very expensive in the off season, and this influenced the current year farmer expectation for the red cherries. So this year, red cherry prices surged, and then we had the historical highs to 250 Ethiopian birr per kg of red cherry, which that is approximately about 1.65 USD per kg. This is like for the cherry. Then this has increased the production cost and reducing the export margins for the exporters. So if we roughly calculate, we have the ratio, which is like 6.25 become like 1 kg of green exportable. So before processing the coffee this year, we had like at price of 10.3 USD per kg of green exportable coffee before processing. So you can imagine, you can add like all the processing, the logistic cost until taking the coffee to FOB. So this year, you can see Ethiopian coffee, especially the special grades, grade 1 and grade 2, are more expensive than usual. So when this happened, exporters, the owners of washing station stepped back but farmers kept drying the cherries because they were expecting the dried cherry price would be better, which which is not the scenario currently happening. And yeah, so that's the situation which we had this year. Next slide. So what was the challenge? The challenge currently we have is that exporters are struggling to balance cost with pricing, leading to reduced activity. Processing shifts like from, towards the natural coffee. So especially in the southern part, from Guji, Yirgacheffe, and the Sidamo area, we have limited washed offers this year. And then also the natural special grades are limited this year, but we do have more commercial grades, what we call grade 3 and grade 4. So overall, the high expectation for the profit as the previous year price signals lowered the and then lower production and the not having knowledge of international pricing among the small farmers has contributed to the local market volatility in Ethiopia coffee sector this year. And can you move to the next? If I roughly give you the general overview from what we have from Algrano, we have seen some. At the beginning, we were a bit had a fear of the coffee quality to be lower than usual because most of the farmers were drying their coffee at their yard. But recently, after the harvest is over, we have seen like the quality overall improved. So these improvements were coming from processing training programs from some NGOs to the producers, because the government saw that the producers was not selling, their farmers were not selling coffee to the washing stations, and then they had to act to work on the processing, and then their house a bit improved. And then also there is a lot of new dry station, like the farmers themselves, after taking the training, they started drying properly. So new small drying station in the coffee growing regions. And also the government has also done a great job in supporting initiatives that was working on the coffee quality improvement. So moving forward with something related to certifications, especially for the EU roasters, this year we have a really notable decrease in certified organic coffees, mostly for the EU markets, which slightly has also affected the EU and the organic offer for the NOPIC or for the US market at the same time. Then what kind of producers and offers we have on Algrano currently? Usually on Algrano, we try to balance the producers who offer their coffee on the platform so that our roasters can have multiple or diversified options. So we have cooperatives, unions, we have group of like the private companies, what we call private limited companies. And we do have some single estate producers also. So we try to diversify our offers according to the regions. So we try to bring from like we try to make it representative from all the regions we have, like Guji, Sidamo, Yirgacheffe, Jima, Limu. So maybe you might not see some of the regions like Lekent and the Kafa, which coffees are mostly into commercial. Maybe you rarely see that one, but of course, always when there is a demand, we do have the producers in the waiting list that we can run into and then bring the coffees on the offer. And then we have multiple processing type, starting from experimentals, micro lots, washed naturals, and special grades, which are G1, G2, and then commercial grades, which are G3 and G4. And also price-wise, also we try to diversify from the very competitive price coffee until like the most expensive one, which are like the experimental lots. So coming into maybe roughly closing about the prices. So high prices for special grades, as I mentioned earlier. So either it is washed or naturals, grade one and the grade two coffees are expensive this year from Ethiopia. But at least as Algrano, we like since all the regions has their like more or less different pricing. For example, mostly the west part having more lower or competitive price, and then those like regions which are very known in terms of the specialty offering, like Irgejefe, Guji, and the Sidama are having the high prices, but still we are trying to balancing and bringing alternative offers on Algrano from the different regions. So finally, just to give you what Kat has already shared about the shared shipments. So we have shared shipment to the US and to the Europe. So for the US, we have a shared shipment closing mid-April from Unravel Coffee and to be shipped in May. And then we have another shared shipment to be closed mid-May and the shipment June from Dim2 Coffee and the Boledu Coffee. Then from the rest of the producers, of course, roasters can still order, but it would be the custom shipment. For the Europe, we have for the May shipment, we have Dim2 and the Boledu shared shipment. For the same also for the May shipment from Faircoff and the Katamuduga. And for June also, we have the second shared shipment from Dim2 and Boledu. So from the rest of the producers, we can do the custom shipment with minimum order quantity of 100 bags. Thank you very much for listening to me, and that's an update from my side.
Wonderful. Thank you, Adisu. If you have specific questions about Ethiopia and like how this year was compared to other years, put those in the Q&A and we'll get to those at the end. And now we move to offers and recommendations from Senor Pablo.
Hello, everyone. So today I divided in three categories the recommendations, and depending on the use that you're gonna have for this coffee. The first one is blends, when you are not using the coffee as a main the only component, but you are combining it with other coffees. I put just as a guidance the range of the scores that probably those coffees fit. In this case, blends are 80 to 83. And this is the coffee that works very well as a component to build your house blend or your signature blend. Then the next slide will be single espressos. This one is the ones that you want to use 100% Ethiopia for your single espresso, and that pairs very well as well for milk beverage, as is one of the main consumptions. And the last slides will be the all-round that I call. These coffees are the 85 plus that can be used for anything, from filter to espresso as a milk beverage. So I also ordered it in lower quality to higher quality. So let's start with the blends. These here are the two grade threes that we have in the platform. The first one is Ethiopia 101. That's in Yirgacheffe region, is Aricha, and the producer is Boledu. And on the other side, we have Ethiopia 174. That's Gucci, also grade 3, but this one is a producer. The producer is Dim2 from the Gucci region. And this one has also, you see on the top right, 100% organic certification, and also the rainforest certification. Now, the difference between them is that Aricha is a bit more nutty profile, a bit more creamy, more mild acidity, more rounded. And the other one, Dim2, is more slightly higher acidity, a bit more juicy, a bit more dry fruits orientation. And at the bottom, we have the prices in euro per kg and USD per pound to have as a reference of FOB. And just notice for the Gucci, That's the last year sensory because we haven't received it yet, but hopefully will be in the platform within maybe 1 or 2 weeks. So just keep yourself ready for it. So we can go to the next one. These are the single espressos I want to highlight today. The first one is Homa Multipurpose, the producer. This is a cooperative. It's called Sara and it's Ethiopia 238. Those coffees already, all of them, the ones that you're seeing there, are around that 84, 85 range on a score. And they already have more fruity characteristics, more complexity, higher acidity, and they are very, very good. I want to highlight Sara because this one is a fair trade certification, and that is really high standard. So this cooperative does a lot of good things for the community, like building classrooms and schools, healthcare as well. Also improving the logistics as building kilometers of road for coffee, but also impacting positively the community, and that's very interesting. And I am a natural process coffee lover, so I must say. Then you have Hambela Grade 2, that's from Dintu, from Guji Jelevo. A bit more juicy, as you know, fully washed processed coffees are more clean, a bit higher acidity, with a lot of sugar. And finally, Guji Sakiso, which is more citrusy. Even I would say Hambela is a bit more clean and a bit more floral, and Guji Sakiso may be more on the citrusy, like all those orange notes. And yeah, single espressos. Then we can move forward to the yes, go for it.
I have one question. At the top where it says ET dash da 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 da, can you tell us how to interpret that number?
Yeah. So if you go to the platform and you type ET, this code literally is the identification from each lot. So when you go to the platform in the bar for searching for coffees, if you write Ethiopia 238, it will send you directly to the link of this offer. But also if you write Sara or Hambela Grade 2 or Guji Sakiso Grade 2, it also, with the name, it will give you it will send you to the platform, to the offer. I will say, like, I will always guide myself better for the codes, like Ethiopia and the number, because that you will make sure that you go to one offer. The other, like if you type Hambela, probably will have a wide range of options on the platform.
Cool. Maybe Cecile can show us that during the platform demo, foreshadowing. Okay, we move on.
Now we go to the all-round coffees. These are like coffees that can be used for any purpose. They are fantastic. They are shining by themselves. So Ethiopia 143 has a Halo variety grade 1 from Boledu. This has an anaerobic natural fermentation. So if you're looking for like a funky, really winey, vibrant, high acidity Ethiopian lot, that would be the case. This coffee has, as I mentioned there, some layers of tropical fruits, funky, citrusy, and very medium-high, like citric tartaric acidity, a bit winey-like. And yeah, that's very unique. And then on the other side, you have a Halo variety, also same washing station, but in this case, it's fully washed process from the same producer, Boledu. And this coffee is also very nice, very citrus, like citrus fruits, blueberries, very juicy body, also medium high citric acidity, but it's also fully washed, so you can see a bit the difference in pricing when it comes to fully washed and also anaerobic fermentation, also due to government regulations, right? That there is different minimum prices for each process. And then if you go to the next slide, alrighty. So here we have another two offers that I really enjoy. Ethiopia 218. This one is a Guji Hambela Grade 1. It's organic. It's also rainforest certification. This is, I put here the queen symbol because this is a natural process Grade 1 that for me this year is becoming my favorite coffee from Ethiopia, because this coffee has layers of stone fruits, has really nice acidity, very sweet. So really, with milk, it was like a caramel, but also by itself, it was has an amazing complexity. And on the other side, we have from Katamuduga producer, the Kenisa cooperative. It's also a great one, Ethiopia 98 from Limu region. What I really like about this coffee, and that's also what makes it different, it's a fully washed coffee, but it has a profile more inclined to what we will recognize in Kenya, like having those dry fruits, plummy taste, a bit winey, but not like the anaerobic of the previous slide, but more like as a balance, sweet, Kenyan-like coffee. Yeah, and had you say that the questions we answer at the end, right? Fantastic. And that's everything. Looking forward for the questions.
Awesome. Yeah. If you have questions for Pablo about any of these coffees or any other coffees on the platform, put those in the Q&A section and we'll get to those at the end. Pablo is an absolute wealth of knowledge when it comes to coffee flavors, diversification, and even assigning, as you can see, assigning different coffees to different kind of menu slots. So he is a really good person to ask about this in this call. Okay, and now we move on to our platform demo with Cecile.
Hey, so let me share my screen. Does it work for you?
Can you all see Cecile's screen? Cool.
Yeah, all good, perfect. So yeah, hello everyone. So I'm gonna show you the platform. So I'm not gonna show you all the features that we have because that might take a bit of time, but I just want to show you how to browse for coffees and also get you through the checkout process to make sure that everything is clear for you and answer all the questions that you might have. So let's jump directly into the Ethiopia category because that's what we're interested in. So first, some of the things you see are calendars. So that's key dates because we all know how important that is for peace of mind, not just for roasters, but also for producers because anticipation is key. So you see here on this calendar, the buying window. So we have the offering usually from January up to May on the platform because the harvest starts, as Adisu said, like September, October. So you will start having offers from January. So we're right in the middle of it. And here, if you click in view shipments, you will see all of the shared shipments that we talked about. And if you click, you also have the last day to place the order and the ETA delivery month. So just a note, I'm on a account of a roaster that is based in Switzerland. So if you're a roaster based in North America, you might not see the same dates. So yeah, the easiest is just to have a look directly on your account. So a few tips to help you browse the coffee. First thing I recommend is to have samples available tick. So like this, you are sure that Pablo has some of these samples in the lab and that you will be able to order them and to cup them. Oops, it's a bit, yes, all good. It's loading. Then another important thing is to have insured shipment tick. So that is if you're looking for less than 100 bags, it means that will be part of the short shipment we've been talking about. If you need more, you don't need to tick this. We can prepare a dedicated container just for you. Another thing that I usually advise is to select how many bags you required. This way, it will show you coffees that have enough inventory and also has a minimum order quantity that fits what you're looking for. Then you can narrow down the selection by selecting the score right here, or if you're looking for some certifications, organic free trade, you can also do it from there. You can save to watch lists if you're looking for very specific things and you want to make sure you don't miss on anything that will be adding to the platform. So that will save the filters that you selected. And you can also sort here by price, by score to help you see what we have. Then let's have a look at this coffee. So when you click on the coffee page, you will see all the information that is shared by the producers. So we have the usual information, altitude, process, harvest period, etc. Here, quality report, you have all of the cupping notes of Pablo that he shared here with the scale score. You find here the ID that we've been talking about. So that's also if you want to look for some of the coffees that Pablo talked about, you can also type here in the search bar the ID and some more information about the coffee. If you have any questions, you can also message the seller directly. That's the best way to have direct information. So don't hesitate, ask questions, send message, and also share about yourself, because we ask a lot of questions, but we don't usually tell producers about our business. So they're always happy to know more. If you wish to order samples, it's right here, order free sample. Then it goes into your cart, and you can select if you want them green, roasted, and then Pablo and the lab team will make sure to send that as fast as possible. And then if you wish to look at the pricing and order, you add the coffee to the cart, select the quantity that you're interested in, any certification. This case, that will be short shipment for 20 bags. So I select my arrival warehouse, then continue to payments. Here is the financing, the payment method. So we have two terms, pay now or pay later. So pay now, it means that you will have 10 days once the contract is signed to pay. Pay later, it means that Algrano will finance the coffee, because the producer will be paid when the coffee is shipped, but you will be able to pay only upon release. So you can select how many days you want. So let's say I want to have 30 days payment terms after each warehouse releases. That will add a financing fee. You can also select the currency. And then one of the last steps is if you wish the quality insurance or not, because all of the coffees that are public on the platform, they go through the lab, and we make sure that the offer matches the pre-shipment samples, that matches the landed samples, and that there are no quality issues. And if there are any issues, you will be fully compensated if you opted for the quality insurance. And then that's pretty simple. Just add your information, continue to review, and then that's at this very last step that you will contract the coffee. So don't hesitate to play with the platform. You're not gonna contract coffee by accident. And if you have any question, any issues, you have this green button right here, and you will have Maureen and Camila to help you out. Yep. So that was an overview of the platform. If you have more questions, yeah, type them in the chat, in the Q&A. We'll answer it.
Awesome. Thank you, Cecile. As Cecile mentioned, this was kind of a quick overview, really just focusing on searching for Ethiopia offers, but there's a lot more you can do on the platform. We have a monthly Kickstart webinar. The next one is on Thursday, next week, not tomorrow, Thursday next week. So if you want a little bit more of an overview about how Algrano works and a little bit deeper platform demo, you can join us for that. Would some I'll put it in the chat when we're in the middle of Q&A, or if Yara or Cecile, if you could put like a link to that webinar in the chat, just so people can find that. And we will move on. So before we get to the Q&A, I want to assign everyone some homework, because in order to accurately plan your sourcing, you really should consider a few things. And answering these questions will help you be able to search more accurately. You really should do this regardless of where you're sourcing your coffee, because it's just important things to do to run a solid roastery. So really, you want to consider, what coffees do you want to buy? Do you want to buy from a specific producer? Are you looking for specific processing methods? Is there a quality or cup score that you're looking for, or specific tasting notes? Think about and write down what volumes you need. Look at your current position, which is all the coffees you have in your warehouse, in your roastery, your warehouses, and already on contract. Look at your usage trends for the last couple of years. So especially like for Ethiopia, how much coffee did you use last year? How much did that grow from the year before? And then consider your plans and projections for growth. Do you have a new cafe opening in the next 2 months and you're going to need to supply it, for the next year with more coffee, etc. And then definitely check out what price point you're comfortable with. As Adisu mentioned, the prices are up this year because of different factors in Ethiopia. So you need to adjust your expectations of what you can get and look at different grade options that might be available. So roasters, do these things so that you're prepared and you know what you're looking for exactly. And next steps, do your homework. As I said, go to algrano.com, search for the coffees that meet your needs, order samples in cup ASAP. I can't drill this in enough because we have a limited quantity of samples. Every coffee lot is also limited, so it might sell out. So if you really want to secure these coffees, order those samples quickly, cup them when they arrive, and then place your orders quickly. Again, to meet the deadlines for these containers closing. Set reminders for container closing dates as well. I would like go into your Google Calendar or whatever calendar you use, and a week before the container closing date, like set a reminder for yourself at the very least, or at the very latest, just so you don't miss those containers. And then again, reach out to support with questions. And that leads us right into questions, Q&A time with Cami and Mo. Also, Adisu, Pablo, and Cecile are available. They're gonna stick with us for any questions that you might have regarding anything that comes up. So let's get into Q&A. I think we've already had a couple of questions. Yeah, Cecile, you wanna?
Yeah, we had a few questions that were answered on the Q&A, but maybe we can read them so everyone know the answer. So someone asked if there are any quality difference between the different shipments living in April and those living in May. So the answer is that there are no quality difference. So it can depends on the region where the producers are based, as some regions have the harvest earlier than others. And also that depends on the demand that we have. We sometimes have several containers for the same origin, but we always recommend ordering as soon as possible to be sure that you will be able to get the coffee that you're looking for and that it's not going to be sold out. Then someone asked if the price varies with the order amount. And yes, it does. So as Camila explained, some producers will offer discounts if you order larger quantities. And also our Algrano's cost depends on the quantity. So if you are buying from a shared shipment, that might be depending on the price different than if you do a custom shipment. So you can play on the platform and change the volume and see how it impacts the price. So that's what was answered. And then Zach is asking, do you all offer roasted sample? Because he's in between sample roasters, and if so, are there options for light versus medium sample roast? Pablo, maybe you can answer that. You're mute.
Muted, yeah, sorry. Yes, we can roast the coffee for you as well. I always like to send the coffee green, so you have the chance to see how the green looks like, and also roast it to have like a first feeling of the coffee. But yeah, we do have roasting, of course, sample roasting machines, and we try to aim for like a light to medium roast, as you mentioned, like kind of like the omni roast profile to give you like also a good impression of the coffee. So we have it as well. We can send it roasted as well.
And you
I
have
would,
that.
I would just mention about the Joaquin had also a great question about the QC or the quality difference between May, June shipments. Of course, there should not be quality difference. We make sure that the coffees are contracted and make sure that the coffee tastes the same. But also what we want to avoid is like the sooner you ship, the better, and also avoiding late summer, particularly because a lot of coffees goes to Addis in the milling station. And I should know that the summer can be a bit hotter there. So that's why the first shipments that you get, the better. But nevertheless, we make sure that the coffee's qualities are not impacted by that.
Great. And to touch on also the shipping roasted samples, you can select that at checkout. So when you add the coffee samples to your cart, there'll be a little drop-down menu that says you can order 50 grams of green, 100 grams of green, or is it 40 grams of roasted or 50 grams of 40 grams of roasted? Because the coffee obviously loses a little volume during roasting.
Yes, it is 40 grams because, as you say, we roast 50 grams batches, but because the lost is 42, 43, 44 usually.
Yeah. So yeah, you'll select that when you're going through checkout. Also, I want to mention when you're ordering sample orders, make sure that you order all of the samples you want at the same time. Pablo and the team in the lab are literally the ones who are packaging those samples up for you and shipping them from Zurich. So if you want to order, let's say 3, 4, 5 different samples, order them all at the same time so that they can go in the same shipment and arrive to you at the same time. And yeah, that's just a pro tip when you're ordering samples. Next questions?
Don't have
Oh, yeah.
questions.
We have one saying, did I miss Sidama coffee? Adisu, you want to talk about Sidama in the different regions?
Yeah, we do have Sidama, but currently they are not available. But the samples are on the way to the office, so they are kind of offered a bit late. So yes, we will have them. But if you have any specific requirement, or if you already know the producer or who you want to source from, we would be happy to chat with them and then make sourcing for you possible.
Yeah, that's a good point too. We have producers listed on the platform on the website there, but we can also ship coffees for producers that are not yet listed there. Like we can basically provide a shipping and logistics service. So if you have Ethiopian coffee producers that you already work with, that you're already sourcing from, and you just need the coffee moved from them to you, we can provide that service. So if you want to do that, reach out to Cami and Mo in the chat or send an email to support@algrano.com and we can connect you with the right people to get that moving. Question, do the prices vary with order amounts? That's a really great question.
We answered this one already. Someone is asking, where are your US warehouses located, particularly East Coast locations? I see, Camila, that you're typing maybe.
Yes, I'm just sending the answer, but basically we work with multiple warehouses across the US and Europe, and we have a list that you can check out on the link that I shared with all of the warehouses.
Cool. And when you're going through, the link is in the Q&A there. Could you also put it in the chat just for folks who aren't in the Q&A?
Oh yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, and when you're going through the checkout for your coffee, as you're like clicking through, like as you're buying coffee, there will be again a drop-down menu that has a list of all of the warehouses that are available for final delivery. On the East Coast, specifically, we have Continental up in New Jersey. We work with Dupuy in South Carolina, which I think Marvin is closest to you in Atlanta. We also have one in Jacksonville. I'm not remembering all of them off the top of my head, but those are the primary ones, if I'm remembering. Houston as well, I believe. Yeah. But yeah, click the link and there it is. Cool. Other questions? We have, oh, Kami, going back to the pricing varying with order amounts, could you just touch on that like verbally as well for people who aren't reading the Q&A?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, the question was if the prices vary with order amounts. I think Cecile already touched on this, but maybe producers have the option to offer discounts based on quantities, and that's optional to them. It's not mandatory. Some offers might have discounts. Others will probably not have a discount on the FOB price, so the price that's paid to the producer. And then the Algrano costs also are impacted by the order amount. And when you add the coffee to the cart, you can play around with the quantities, and you'll see that the price will actually fall the more you order. Basically, that's it.
Perfect. Yeah, the Algrano website is really like there are a lot of things that happen on there. You can do a lot there. So I would suggest just going on, clicking on a coffee, and play around with the volumes, order samples, and you can see kind of everything right there on the website. The nice thing about Algrano is there's a lot of transparency in the pricing. So you get to see line items for every single thing that adds to the cost of the coffee. You see the FOB price, which is the price that the producer is paid. You see a line item for like logistics and transportation. You see a line item for financing and fees, which basically is us covering the cost because, as we've said, the producer gets paid when the shipment leaves, but you don't pay until you release the coffee from the warehouse. So we cover the money in the middle. So that's the financing fee. And then there's also like an Algrano fee, which is basically our like service fee for doing what we do, having the website, having support team, having a QC lab, etc. But it's really cool because you get to see literally every single line item where your money is going from how much the producer gets to, yeah, the full breakdown, which is very atypical for coffee buying. Another question, are you expecting shipping delays to Europe? I would also add the US due to the current conflict. Pablo, do you have something to say?
Yes, I was checking with logistics about this as we don't have any in the webinar. For Europe, so far we are not expecting any delays. Everything is running smoothly, but everything can change, with these different news that are popping every day. But so far in Europe, I'm not sure about USA, but in Europe, we are not expecting any delays.
That's good. Love to hear
Maybe
it.
to probably
Yes.
add on that, Kat.
Uh-huh.
Anytime we have a shipment on the move, we ensure that we are able to provide like weekly updates on where the shipment is. If we have any delays, then you're able to get an update on that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great note. I recently just bought 2 bags of coffee, my first coffee that I ever bought by myself on Algrano. And it was really cool because, yeah, every week I get an email that says, your coffee is on the way. Your coffee is and so, yeah, it's really cool. You don't have to worry about where the coffee is. It just automatically tells you as it's coming. So yeah, and you can also go on the platform, go to your dashboard and look at the coffees you have contracted and see updates there as well as they move. That's also important to note that all of the like the container arrival days, let's see if I have here, all of these dates where it says the arrival, I put approximate because they are all approximate shipping days, shipping dates. international shipping is a miracle that we have it in the first place. And there are many things that can affect these these dates. So this is where we have the approximation that these containers will land, and then the coffees will be available to release shortly after that. But again, it's all subject to container availability, the shipping availability through different routes, etc. So make sure that temper your expectations. Sometimes shipments are delayed, and that's unfortunately outside of our control, but that is also true for all coffee shipping across the world, everywhere. More questions?
Yes, Marvin is asking if my opinion about the unrolled merchant coffees. On top of my head, I remember that they have the code Ethiopia like ET209 and ET212. They are natural and fully washed. Unravel has really is really strict with high quality coffees, so all their coffees are 86 plus by default almost. Also as far that I remember. And I haven't capped this year lots yet, but as soon as we cap them, they will be available in the platform. I think from Unravel merchants, it's more about what are your inclinations in terms of like what are your preference. Do you prefer natural processed coffees or wash coffees? And he has really really nice ones. I remember Ethiopia 209 and Ethiopia 212. So as soon as they are available, I will, keep an eye on them. Very nice coffees.
Yeah, Unravel is really top notch, high quality. I think right now we just don't have the sample material available yet, so you can't quite order it. But you can go onto the platform, find the producer's profile, and send him a message directly and say like, "Hey, I'm interested in your coffee. Can we establish a connection?" Also, Marvin, I can connect you. I'll send you an intro email. I'll take care of that after this.
Yeah, sorry, I may jump in there. They will be sharing the sample, but since they do usually the special prep most of the time, so the coffee need to be settled, and then the harvest finished recently in February. So they're waiting for the coffee to get settled, and then very soon we should have some samples from them actually.
Perfect. Thank you, Adisu. Awesome. Other specific questions? We have another 7 minutes. I tried to leave the purpose of this was to leave a ton of time for Q&A. And so I want these questions, y'all. Well, maybe I'll ask a question, Adisu and Pablo, in terms of grades. Like we're talking about grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, grade 4. What are really the differences between grades? Is it like grade 1 has no defects and grade 4 is 50% defects, or what is the delineation between the grades?
Pablo, you want to go first?
Okay. So I mean, if anyone has been in Ethiopia, or I can explain, the washing station when the coffees are being processed, they have by density they are sorted. So the higher density coffees will go to a certain tanks, and the lower density coffees will go to a different through different tubes to a different place. So they are sorted by density. Now, what that means that often the lower you go in grade, the more tolerance for Quakers you should have, but also a bit maybe potentially some more secondary effects. As grade one and grade 2 are the ones that are on the top of the game. They are the highest qualities. They should not have Quakers. They should be very uniform and have a minimum amount of secondary defects and no primary defects at all. So the lower you go, the more tolerance you should have for Quakers, and the more tolerance you should have for secondary defects, particularly when you go after the second. Grade 1, grade 2, then there is the grade 3, grade 4, grade 5, where there used to have a bit of tolerance for this defect. But at the same time, if you don't mind that nutty profile characteristics in your coffees, and they can be a very good alternative for a bit more competitive pricing as well.
Yeah, so adding to, yeah, that's great, Pablo. So as Pablo mentioned, when it comes to the processing, the exporters or the producers, they already know which coffee is going for the lower grade and which is going for the special grades. So let's take, for example, washed coffee. So washed coffee usually, in Ethiopia at least, it's grade 1 and grade 2, like 90%. Then 10% maybe you can get undergrade washed coffee. So that's very limited. So for Ethiopia, the commercial grade, or what we call low grades, like grade 3, 4, and 5, they are usually natural processed coffee. So this natural processed coffee, they are not given the same attention when drying and when being processed as that of grade 1 and grade 2. So that also influences. And then when we come to talking about the defects, so grade 1 are having the defects less than 5. So those are like the exceptional, and there is no primary defects, and this is like highest quality. So including those micro loads, experimentals, and those good grade 1 coffees, whether washed or natural. And when it's come to grade 2, it's a more or less like between 5 to 12 defects. It's still premium quality, but not exceptional as that of grade 1. But still, there shouldn't be it might have maybe, I don't know, there shouldn't be primary defects, but still it has like some level of the defects. And then I think we do also already give different attention for the coffee, which we want to be grade 1, and then which we want to make it grade 2. So the way we dry it, the way we cover, and the time we store and the place we store, all could be different depending on the experience of the producers. So grade 3, grade 4, and the grade 5 are most of the time they are natural processed coffees, and with grade 3 having like until 25 defects, and then it's normally commercial grade, and the grade 4 is like 25 to 46 defects. It's kind of standard commercial, and like the very low grade of fin, which is used for domestic, is like grade 5, and then it has like a plenty of defects. That one, like maybe you could see until 80 defect count in grade 5 coffee. I think more or less that's the idea, and then the quality related to the defects of grading.
Perfect. Awesome. Gracias, Adisu and Pablo. Amasegunalu. Question, was wondering if you provide green sourcing and logistics services. We have established relationships with coffee farmers in Ethiopia. Our need comes from assistance with transportation and logistics. The answer is yes. I'll field this one to Cami or Mo. If somebody has established relationships with farmers in Ethiopia and they want to move it, what should they do?
Great. I think I can take that. Yes, so essentially we provide logistics services where you have an established relationship. And how we do this is, one, check if you're sourcing at a time where we have a shared shipment, and you're sourcing, say, below 100 bags, which will, 100 bags then will call for a custom shipment. So in the event that you're sourcing at a time we have a shared shipment, we can consolidate that with other producers who are consolidating in that shipment. Then In the event that you require a custom shipment, which will be 100 bags and over, we can consolidate that at any time. So what you will require to do, one is, especially for you to get a quote, you can share with us like the FOB agreed with the producer that you have already had an established relationship with. I think what I can also do in our chat, I can share a help center resource to help respond to most questions for any shipping services that you require. And you can always feel free to reach out to us in the event that you need to move the coffees from Ethiopia to your location. Yeah.
Perfect. And the first step for that is either send an email to support@algrano.com or go in the chat on algrano.com, the little green bubble in the bottom, and chat with Kami and Mo, and we can get it moving for you. All right, one last question. What is the reality of difference in quality of a landed lot versus a sample? So let's say a coffee is showing first signs of aging due to delays. What happens then? Pablo, do you want to take that?
Yes, yeah, of course. Usually, the landed sample works in our favor in the sense like a offer is being harvested. Usually, producers try to harvest as soon as possible the first 2-3 kilos in order to us to have the sample as soon as possible, and the coffee is fresh. When that's the coffee that you receive, and then when the coffee is contracted, usually 2-3 months happen and the coffee is landed. It actually, the coffee is being settled, is opening up. So usually quality works in our favor when the shipments are contracted earlier. Now, if the coffee goes and the shipment was contracted very late in the harvest, and then there was a problem in shipping, and the coffee is showing aging characteristics, then we need to see by context why. Like if it's a shipping problem or the coffee is already contracted too late. So if the coffee is contracted very late, we need to see by the context if that aging notes are actually what is happening as we are working with organic product. But let's say that the coffee is showing aging notes because the shipping was delayed. So what we'll do is like we flag it in the lab, and then you will receive a sample of that arrival. And then we will check with you, okay, are you happy with the arrival landed? Or, you have also, you're facing also issues of the aging notes. In that case, we try to work all together with producer a solution. If that's not possible, we can also cancel the contract and take care of the coffee as well ourselves. But everything on all the situations when it comes to problem in quality are taken kind of like individual. But if there is a problem in landed sample, you will be given your arrival sample to taste it as well. And after that, we will work like possible solutions. That ranges from working a potential discount to actually us taking care of the coffee, and you are free from any charge.
Yeah, that's one really great thing about working through Algrano. You can do the direct trade, but we also provide kind of this quality assurance so that you're not stuck with a coffee that completely falls off or that we're flagging that is not up to standard.
Exactly. I want to just point out that's when you included the QC. That's when we see the coffee. If you don't include the QC and you run the risk of the quality, then the lab will not see that coffee lot. So that coffee lot is sorely focused on you, and then we will not be able to cover you on that regard.
Yeah, that's a good point. So when you're going through checkout, one of the options is to select for quality control or not. And in order to have the service of quality control and quality assurance, you have to select that during checkout. It does increase the price a tiny bit because it requires more work from our team, but that you get that kind of backup and that assurance, really. Cool. Wonderful. Well, we just ran only 4 minutes over, which honestly I'm pretty pretty happy with because we had a lot of information to cover and had a lot of really great questions. So thank you all for joining us. Make sure next steps, search for coffees on algrano.com and order those samples ASAP for Ethiopia. We also have Central coffees, coffee from Central America, some shipments closing soon as well. So really order those soon. We will have a call very similar to this about coffees from Central America coming up at the end of this month. I think we have it planned for March 31st. So we'll start promo for that pretty soon. So sign up for that as well. But yeah, make sure to order your samples, cup them, order your coffees, and reach out to support if you have other questions. Thank you so much for attending this webinar, and we'll see you around. And thank you to my whole team also for being willing to jump on this call. I'm really, really happy that everybody was able to join. Thank you all for contributing your expertise.
Have a great time.
Thank
All
you.
right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.